Welcome to the Brady Bunch of Autism, your source for family, parenting, and all things autism and special needs. Created by our family for your family. Live from the Ed Asner Family Center. And now your hosts, Nava and Matt Asner.
Who wants to start?
Harrison smells.
Jack?
It's probably because he's so fat.
Jack, please take out your headphones, and that's rude.
How am I supposed to
Hey,
get
Violet,
a boyfriend if I can get married if I'm in the kitchen squirting mustard on sandwiches?
Violet,
That word.
Violet, watch your language. Jack, is that how friends talk to each other?
No, but he's not my friend.
My best friend since preschool.
You're not even qualified to live here with us.
Of course he is. Your family's rented this apartment for all three of you, and you know that.
So we could become independent. Harrison will never be independent or have a
Harrison,
job.
don't listen to that.
His
Jack.
parents are filthy rich and they pay for most of the rent. Otherwise, you wouldn't even make the cut.
Jack. Harrison, I think that Jack might be a little agitated right now. And so he's saying things he doesn't actually mean, and I just want to find out how you're feeling about that.
I don't like him very much right now.
Yeah, I understand. Jack, do you hear that?
How am I ever going to hook up with a man?
Maybe you can go on a date with someone at drama club.
Drama club? Yeah. I want someone normal.
What about Douglas?
Douglas?
Yeah.
Ew, guess again, I'm not going to Douglas. But you
Violet,
definitely
language.
can if that's your thing.
Violet.
Look, I'm going to be here a lot more often now. So I need this place to smell less like Harrison.
You're gonna be here more often.
a love connection.
Wait, Violet, Tinder is off limits.
Fine, Bumble.
No, we do not use our phones during group.
Welcome to Ed Talks, a place for discussion, learning, and all things autism and special needs. Tonight's guests, the cast and producers of As We See It. And now the hosts of Ed Talks, Nava and Matt Asner.
Good evening, Ed Talks. This is our As We See It edition. And I want to welcome our guests. I'm Matt Asner. This is Nava Pascoe. And we have...
Hi, everyone.
You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, and joining us tonight is the Ed Asner Family Center Social Director and Autistic Self-Advocate and the co-creator of our relationship series. So we have a series here at the center called The Dating Spectrum, and we're bringing in Chelsea Darnell to join us tonight. Hello.
And what you just saw is a clip from the Amazon show As We See It, which is playing now on Amazon. It's an amazing show that centers around an apartment that houses three people on the spectrum. And we're joined by tonight by Jason Katims, the creator and producer of the show. Jason, how are you?
Good. Hello. Hi.
Hi, Jason. Thank you so
Hi,
much for
guys.
joining
Thank
us.
you for having us. We're thrilled to be
And
here.
we have Joe Montana, who is a stranger to none, joining us, who plays one of the fathers of the young people in the apartment, and Ann Pien. Am I getting that right? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Who plays
Violet.
Albert Rutecki, who plays Harrison, and Rick Glassman, who plays Jack. Welcome, guys.
You should have had Chelsea do that.
I should have.
She probably would have known all the characters.
And are you going to start us off with the question? We're going to get right into it. We've had so many people write us about this show. It's really struck a nerve, and I think it's so genuine and authentic. And kudos to everyone for a great job.
Thank you.
We were riveted and we binge watched the whole thing. We didn't get up for a couple hours, so we're amazed by it, and I applaud everyone involved. And we're going to get right into it. As I lose my voice, we're going to get right into it. And Nava's going to start the questions.
Okay. We've had so many people write to us, and they're so excited to have you guys answer their questions. The entire community is just like talking about your show, and the actual autistics are talking about it, the parents, and there's something for everyone in this show. Matt and I have 3 autistic sons ourselves. And for us, we laughed, we cried. I think I don't want to say my favorite character, but I love the dynamic between Jack and Joe. And I just think it was so beautiful and so poignant and so emotional. And, I'm going to start us off because we have a lot of questions. I'm going to start with asking Albert, Rick, and Sue Ann, how do you approach playing a character on the spectrum when their challenges and strengths are different than your own experience? How do you respectfully represent when portraying severe challenges? And how do you cope when playing something that is hard, triggering, or sensory overstimulating for you? Do you want to start, Sue Ann?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm hearing a feedback.
You're okay here.
Okay. That's a great question. And one of the things that, I think there's always, there has to be levels and layers of who I truly am in any character I'm going to play as an actor. And particularly with Violet, I had never read or auditioned for anything that was just so intuitively alive and real for me the way Violet was. And so there's a safety for me being on set in a scripted world because I know within the realms and parameters of the writing of, the scenes, the blocks, where it's going to begin, where it's going to end. So that it's the safest place for me to be is always on set because everybody and everyone's roles are spelled out, including mine down to the lines I'm going to speak. But I love the freedom once I'm inside the scenes to absolutely unpack, explore. I've studied acting for many years, and so it's enjoyable for me to access the different types of emotions. And the challenges actually it's very good for me to spend my time doing things in acting so that I'm not actually out in the world doing things where it is an unsafe environment with unsafe consequences. Yeah.
Awesome. Albert, do you want to try to take that one? Do you want me to kind of, I won't repeat the whole thing. It just basically.
There's stuff that was different.
Go ahead.
Stuff that was different, I guess, just try to re-up on different people's experiences on the spectrum, and that helped. And for everything else, I think Sue Ann spoke pretty well about how safe the set was. I don't really have a lot else to say right now. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Albert, do you want to answer that one?
Me? Rick?
Yes.
I think Sue Ann and Albert really knocked it out of the park.
No, Sue Ann did.
I was just totally interrupting here. I was just watching your blog, your podcast, and it's hysterical. I subscribe to you because it was really funny.
Did you see the three of us on it?
That's the one I was watching today, where you keep calling him Daddy. I love it.
Jason, I really quick addition to this question. Did you do extensive rewrites after you cast? After meeting all the actors?
Well, I did a lot of. I just took away as many of Jack's lines as I could. No. The process is really was not dissimilar for me as what it always is in doing a show. It's really why you do television, is the collaborative nature of doing it. So what happens is, you sort of write these characters in a vacuum, not knowing who are going to be the people who are playing them. And then as you cast them, as you see what they bring, part of the joy of doing it is then to try to almost sort of channel their voices and lean into what you think they're going to be, what the strengths they're going to bring and what could be exciting to them and challenging to them. I mean, one of the things, for example, I would say is, there's a beautiful story, a beautiful scene in the finale of the season. That's a very very, very, it's a beautiful scene, but it's also a very painful scene with Albert. And Albert has a very dramatic kind of meltdown, public meltdown in the final episode. And, I, kind of wrote that, after we had already sort of started shooting. And as we were doing the show and I was watching Albert sort of grow as an actor and grow in his confidence, I was inspired, like sort of knowing stuff about him as an actor that I didn't know, honestly, when we started. I didn't know him that well. And it really gave me the confidence to write that scene in a way that in the way that I did, and that I think gave Albert the opportunity to do like this incredible scene that he was that was, if you guys have seen it, it was just so upsetting and beautiful and honest. And but that comes, and there's like a million small examples of that in every single scene, but that's like one really big example of how I get inspired by the actors.
I feel like we cut Rick off. So did you want to answer? You're over it.
No.
Okay, we'll move on. Chelsea,
Jason
you
asked
want
me
to
not to talk too much.
Yeah, you're like, now I'm not going to talk at all. Fine, Jason.
We'll take Jason's lead.
Chelsea, you had the next question.
Yeah, so this question is specifically for Albert, Rick, and Sue Ann. What was the hardest day of filming and why?
I could take this one. Jason, if that's okay. There was this, answering these kind of things, I don't really, I don't know, you don't want to reveal too much, but I guess, spoiler alert. There was a moment, where the character of Jack realizes that he was not hiding his autism as well as he had thought, and is ostensibly coming out of the closet, or was forced out. And he goes to dinner with the nurse, his father's nurse, Iwatomi. And the scene was Jack trying to be like, hey, I'm cool. I don't have this thing. I'm a regular guy. And I didn't know it was going to be such a hard scene. As an actor, not that I've done as many things as Joe Mantegna, but I had never really been challenged that way. And when I was on set, it was just really, really hard because that wasn't the case for me. It was the opposite for me. When I found out that I was autistic, which I was diagnosed as an adult, it was like such a relief that, oh, this is why. And I just couldn't tap into that hiding thing. And I was just kept trying. And then I got super nervous because I was asking the director questions and I felt like I was taking too many takes and Ricky's going to be difficult to work with. And I didn't want to be so like, oh, I didn't get it. And I remember I was really in my head. And I went home that night and I told a friend of mine how I was a little upset because I felt like I wasn't able to do what my job asked of me. And he said, isn't it nice to be challenged as an actor? And that just made me feel so excited and happy and realized, oh, this isn't supposed to be easy, I guess. I'm just used to doing comedies about farts and boogers and poops and stuff, which, it gets an easy laugh. You just say it. You don't even have to fart. You get a laugh. Jason, I'm sorry. It's the truth. But yeah, that scene was very challenging. And afterward, I think it came out great editing, great music. You did a great job. Sincerely, I was nervous about seeing it.
That was a challenging scene. That was not an easy scene for that would not be an easy scene for anybody. Joe, would that be an easy scene to play for you?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I never know what's going to be an easy scene or a hard scene or whatever, but bottom line is if the best line I heard about acting, I think, was James Cagney's. He says his theory of acting was you plant your feet, you look the other person in the eyes and you tell the truth, And for that to work, it's just got to be on the page. And if it's on the page, it makes it a lot easier. And the beauty of this show, I believe, or I feel, is that it was always on the page. So I never found any of it really all that difficult, because I never felt there were false moments in the writing. And, that's not easy to find, but I think that's why the show has the quality it has.
I want to follow up one small part on that, what Joe says, which is so true. Everything about this show felt so authentic. Some of it felt very honest to who I am in real life. Some of it I was able to connect to in some way. That was one moment that, Joe, like you're saying, just to tell the truth. The truth would have been, I want you to know this about me, and that's why it was a challenge. But yeah, I mean, it was this whole thing felt so honest, though. It did make it a lot easier to perform.
All right. No, I think that's one of the things we talked about so much is the writing was just beautiful and so honest, brutally honest sometimes, but so honest and so natural. And, there were times with each one of them that would look at each other and say, oh my God, we can totally relate to that. And it's very relatable to everyone, including actual autistics, I think.
Yeah.
So I think Chelsea actually has the next one too.
This transitions easily to my next question. For Albert, Sue Ann, and Rick, what is your advice to other potential actors who are also autistic and want to get into the business?
Sue Ann, will you take this one?
Yeah. Well, it was a lot longer and harder than I thought it'd be. So one of the things I think that's really important is just to play. I mean, it's so crazy because years ago I was on set doing background work, and it was with a movie with Sosie's mom, Kira Sedgwick. She was fucking fantastic. Oh my God, pardon my French. I would looked at her. I remember because I was in the circle sitting with her, and I was like, wow, like that's the kind of actress I want to be. So however you can be, like, in the world, right? Like, when I got this call, I got the call back for this. I literally had made this decision that, okay, well, if I'm going to work at a diner, I might as well do what I love, which is acting. So I don't care. I'll go do background work. And I was on the set of like The Young and the Restless. And it was like in the middle of like some take, and they were like, oh my God, you just got put on hold. So like at the end of the day, if you don't have an ego around it, it's going to be very easy, which I think autistic people are actually going to have a much easier time sticking it out for the long run, because it's not something that you're going to go into because you want all the fame or success or fortune. It's going to be because you fucking love acting and you want to watch amazing actors do it. Like, it has to be a special interest of yours, or it's unattainable. It won't last.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Let's let Albert.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Albert.
You can maybe start out local, or get involved in your local theater scene, try to hone your crafts. You could work and study acting. And that's the stuff that I did that I found at least helped me become a better actor in the long run. And I'm not sure how good that is as advice, but yeah, if you want to just find ways to act.
Exactly. Just start acting.
My dad would always say, if you want to be an actor, do whatever it takes to get on the set and stay on the set. And just be in front of the camera, be behind the camera, just do whatever you can to be there and to soak it in, because it's always a learning experience, and you learn something on every job that you do. Would you agree with that, Joe?
Yeah, without question. I mean, my motto has always been, I never took the business seriously, but I always took my job very, very seriously, because the business can be overwhelming with all the publicity, the this, the that, the parties, the stuff the accoutrements, let's say, to the actual work. But the thing is, once you've got that job and you've made that commitment to, this is the part you're going to play, the character you're going to do, you give it, you give it your best shot. You put everything you got into it. And at least so then at the end, you can say to yourself, if you felt it worked, you can't, there's no apologies. You can't say to yourself, well, I didn't really try very hard. I should have took this more seriously. Because then you got yourself to blame. As long as you can take the time that's allotted to you to do the work and you give it your best, that's all you can do.
Great advice.
I have a good piece of advice, Jason.
Okay,
Jack?
Rick,
Rick.
please.
I wanted to act. I've always wanted to be an actor. I didn't even know it was necessarily comedy. I've been doing stand-up for about 14 years now, and the reason why it was easier to get up on a stage with a microphone than it was in front of a camera, because you could just, you don't need so many people, but just doing stuff constantly. Yes, on set too, I agree. Like Sue Ann, I was doing background work for a very long time and I loved it. And I got to watch things and I learned terms and everything. But just stand up or the podcast that I do, or making sketches or making videos or writing stuff to do, because so many people want to do stuff, but most people don't do it until someone gives them something. So if you write stuff or if you get a camera and film stuff, there's going to be a lot of talented people that are going to want to collaborate with you because it's hard to make things. So when you're not on set with the job that you want to have, write stuff and get a camera and learn how to edit.
Great. I loved the interaction between the Jack character and Joe's nurse. I'm going to go back and forth because I forget if it's Joe or it's the character name, but it was so beautiful. And it was just I think I've heard a lot that people love the relationship kind of story, but also Violet, Sue Ann's character. We were saying, this is something that happens to everyone, that happens to neurotypical girls, that happens to everyone. And it was so real, and her innocence and her just realness about it was so impactful to everyone. At the center, actually inspired by shows like this, Love on the Spectrum, we created a relationship course, because there's so many young adults and adults with autism or other special needs that want these kind of experiences like Sue Ann did. And she's trying to explain to her brother, I just want this so much. And with Chelsea's help, we created our relationship course that was created by autistics. And it wasn't something where somebody's telling you how you should feel. We wanted that kind of realism. And to me, it's so important. And we're going to take a look at a little clip so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And it's just such a wonderful kind of snippet from this part.
Hey, how's your date?
Well, I spent half my paycheck on an overpriced pizza, and they sat us next to an unruly birthday party with crying babies.
So it sounds like it didn't...
I think I have a girlfriend now.
What?
Iwatomi, I think she might be my girlfriend.
That's amazing.
I wouldn't get too excited. Historically, I'll ruin this.
I don't think you will.
Where's Harrison? I want to gloat.
I wouldn't talk to Harrison right now. He's just sad. He's having problems with a girl.
You're the girl. I advised him against it, but he didn't listen. I'll talk to Harrison. I'll ask how he's doing. I'll practice empathy.
Really?
Mandy, now that I'm in a relationship, I'm going to need to start pretending to care about things I otherwise wouldn't give a shit about.
That would mean a lot to Harrison. And me. Thank you, Jack.
I'm doing it for me.
I love that part. I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay, Maddie.
I think it's Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Next one.
Perfect. I guess my question for you is, authentic representation is a pretty hot topic at the moment. For Albert, Sue Ann, and Rick, what do you want to know? What do you want the world to know about the importance of authentic representation?
I think that if you're going to do a show or a movie focusing on autism, autistic people should play at least some sort of part in the creation of it, unless you want it to ring hollow. Like, you want to get that right if you actually care.
Agreed.
I couldn't agree more.
We're gonna take a look at a clip. Albert, we're gonna take a look at some work that you did and your character did on the walk to the store, or to work, actually. And I thought it was an amazing scene because it really showed the work that that each individual has to do on a daily basis. And Jason, you wrote an amazing scene there, because I remember watching it just thinking, this is just, you've never seen this before. It was a really wonderful moment. We're going to take a look at it, and then we're going to talk about how you came to do that scene and what it was like performing it. So let's take a look at that.
You can do this. It's half a block more.
I'm going back home now.
No, wait, turn around. You can do it. You're halfway there.
A dog. There's a dog, Mandy.
Okay, take a breath. It's a quiet dog. It's not a barker, okay?
I'm going back.
No, wait, Harrison, think about the croissant. What kind of croissant are you going to order?
Chocolate.
Okay, and are you going to have it heated, or are you just going to have it room temperature?
Heated.
Sounds delicious. Okay, just walk right past the dog. That's a friendly dog.
Friendly dog. Friendly dog. Friendly dog. Friendly dog. Friendly dog. Friendly dog. I did it. I did it, Mandy.
You did it!
I made it to the coffee shop.
You did it! You did it! High five me! Yes!
It's croissant time.
It's finally croissant time. We're dancing.
Yay.
That's really an incredible scene of overcoming a sensory issue, or issues. Albert, did you relate to that?
Somewhat.
Yeah.
I do have some sensory issues, and I'm not sure if overcoming it is the best word, because you still deal with sensory issues. Someone else take over, please.
What if I say having small victories over sensory issues?
Mm-hmm.
Better.
Yeah.
Better, because they're still there, right? You're having victories over them. Jason, do you want to comment on that scene? It was a great scene.
Oh, thank you so much. I love that scene. I mean, to me, it was really important in telling the story that it was a story about to make it a story about what it was really like to be, what life was really like. Like that was what the whole show was about. It was like, what was it like? It was what is it like to do things, whether that means to try to figure out how to date or keep a job or get a job, or in some cases, just be able to walk down the street to get a croissant. And that was really like one of the big things that we wanted to do in telling the story, that we wanted to make it very real about the real challenges of sort of everyday life. And one of the things I'm very proud of in watching Albert's work in that scene, and not only Albert's work, but the direction and editing and music and everything that went into that, is that, it really lands that sometimes something as simple as walking down the block can actually be like a great heroic moment and a beautiful moment. And that was from the first episode. And when we were able to sort of accomplish that in the first episode, it gave me I got very excited about, the stories that we can tell on the show, because it made me confident, I should say, that we could tell stories that were, sort of small in a way from what you would normally think to be what a story on television would be in terms of just, the content of them, but they were very big in other ways. And so that to me is sort of what that sort of scene was about. And, it's also like, that's a complementary scene to, an earlier scene where, he's not able to be successful walking down the street. That was a very important scene in the show too, because what we did in that scene was we really went into, Harrison's head, and we saw the world as he saw it. We heard the sounds that were overwhelming, the leaf blower or the bicycle crossing in front of him, or the garbage truck. And it allowed us to get into his head and see the world through his eyes, which was, like an incredibly important thing for what we were sort of trying to do in the show, which is just really try to tell, it's why it's called As We See It, is we're seeing it through the eyes of these characters. We're not looking at them and commenting. We're not looking at it from somebody else's point of view. We're looking at it through their perspective.
And this scene was really a scene setter. It was definitely, because it was very early in the episode, the first episode, and so it was a wonderful way to start, because it let you know what you really were about, what was about to unfold.
Quick little behind the scenes note.
Please,
yeah, of course.
That
Just
dog,
the bird, Albert.
that dog you saw that was supposed to be a friendly dog is not a barker. There were takes that were ruined because in the background you just hear him go, brr, brr. And the dog who was supposed to bark at me in the earlier scene, they had a hell of a time trying to get her to bark.
Oh, how funny!
Isn't that always the case? What do they say about dogs and children, right?
They don't want them to.
Chelsea.
Perfect. This question is specifically for Joe Mantegna. How did you connect with this particular project?
Well, as I sit here, my 35-year-old daughter with autism is downstairs, and it was important that I be home at this time because my wife had to go somewhere, and my daughter is she's fairly independent. Pretty much has to have someone around, just in case, kind of thing. So that in itself is an indication of why this show resonates for me in a very personal way. And I put it this way, and I've told Jason this. I've been doing this for 50 plus years, and I love what I do. I've always loved what I do. And on occasion, I'm also very proud of what I'm involved in. Not necessarily what I personally am doing, but just what I'm involved in doing. And in this particular case, I'm very proud of what I've been involved in doing, because for me, much of my career has been an escape in the sense of, and it probably is for many people, an escape, not necessarily from anything bad, but just as an escape, because let's face it, we're playing pretend for a living. That's what they pay us to do, to come in and create this fantasy and world and play this part. For me, in coming to do on this project, there was a lot less of that. And so it was one of those first times I really had to think about it. How is it like do I want to cross that line and make what I do for a living also incorporate what I've been living for well over 30 years now? And it's been great, but yet, nothing ventured, nothing gained in that respect, because I didn't know how it was going to be. I didn't know how I was going to even respond to it. But it's been a beautiful thing, and I feel very blessed to have had that opportunity. But to answer your question, it was very kind of very comfortable to enter this world because it's a world I already live in.
I want to get into that a little bit, but first we're gonna take a look at a clip with you and Rick, and it's kind of self-explanatory. So I'll let the clip speak for itself, and then we'll come back and talk about it a little bit.
Well, travertine gets the job done, but genuine slate is still number one. Jack, what are you doing here? Marcus, you're missing a big meeting at work and you're on probation.
You gave me inexact and incomplete information about your cancer.
Cancer? Oh, it's nothing.
It's not nothing. It's small cell carcinoma. It's extremely serious.
Oh my God. How bad is it?
He has somewhere between a 30 and 50% chance of survival.
Jesus. It's 50%.
Not necessarily. When they did your workup, did they find any mutations in your third or sixth chromosome?
I don't know, Jack.
Or loss of function on your RB1 gene?
I don't know.
How do you not know this?
Look. I have an appointment with my oncologist tomorrow. Why don't you come along?
Okay, good. A ton of questions for this guy.
Well, how about we start at 3? Okay? If you come along, that's the rule. 3 questions. He's a big-time doctor. His time is valuable. We are just there to listen. All right?
Okay.
Amazing scene. Joe, your character is facing all of our worst fears. And knowing that you're ill and may not be there to care for your son much longer, as an actor, do you bring your own fears into that? Or is it just too much and you have to separate yourself from it? Your performance was just spot on. And I wonder what your process was.
Well, there's no separating in that case. I mean, I'm going to be 75 years old. And like, as I said, I one of the things that's on my mind is like, what's going to happen when I'm no longer here? My wife and I often talk about that. And so we have to we've had those discussions about, okay, well, how does life continue? Not just for our older daughter, Mia, with autism, but for her sister, her younger sister, who's had to be big sister to her older sister for all these years. So these are things that I live with, every day. And so it's just this is just an extension of that. So, I'm hoping Jason, in fact, hopefully we're going to get the chance to continue doing these, and I hope Jason is able to write some kinds of things that will be able to say, oh yeah, that's the way we'll go with this. This is good. I'm going to apply this into life, So it will be one of those things where hopefully life imitates art, but we'll see. But in the meantime, it's, I work, I've been wearing, in this show, you often wear 2 hats. Sometimes you wear 2 hats when you're an actor. This show, I've been kind of under one big hat for the whole run of it, but it's okay. It's all good.
Well, I mean, we share your concerns, of course, because we're parents, and Jason, I'm sure that's where that came from. Jason, you want to comment on that scene and the experience?
Yeah. Well, it's such a incredible thrill to get to work with Joe, who I've been, an incredible fan of as an actor for many, many, many years. And, Joe and I will sometimes start talking about a scene before we start shooting it. And, I get 4 words out and he gets 6 words out, and we're both tearing up as we're talking about it. And then I'm just like, just do the scene, because he has such an incredible, he's such an incredible actor, but he's also has such an incredible personal connection to the story that what he's doing with this role is amazing. And I would say for me, not only that scene, but this story in general was one of the things that I was, really wanting to, one of the things that was really important about me in making the show was to tell the story of parents. This was, by the way, one of the things that the show comes from an Israeli format. It's an Israeli television show called On Spectrum, which is a beautiful show. And in the adaptation, one of the things that what is different about this version is that character, the character of Jack's, dad didn't exist in the original show. But I really felt I wanted that the role of the parent represented and that story represented, and that's how that came to be.
Well, we are so glad that you added that character, because it really was, for me, it stood out the most, because we do deal with those issues, Matt and I, every day. And we love Joe. He's been a huge supporter of the center, and his daughter Mia has been coming here for years. And, my favorite movie still is Baby's Day Out. I have to say that will always be my favorite movie. But this next question was asked, probably the biggest question asked was, is there going to be a season 2? And how can we make that happen?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
As a community.
Right. Well, that's the question I ask every single day. Will there be a season 2? We're waiting for Amazon. I will say that we are definitely hopeful. Amazon has been incredibly supportive of the show throughout. I know they're very proud of the show as well. I am, working with, with the writers to start to think about, the stories in season 2. But we're sort of waiting from them to go through their process to find out whether they're going to order a second season. So we're waiting. So what, can you do? I mean, absolutely do stuff. I mean, watch the show, tell your, people that you think might like the show to watch it and talk about it, on social media. If you think that the people, at Amazon don't look at that and it's not important to them, you're wrong. It's incredibly important to them, how people are talking about the show and responding to the show. And particularly now, getting the word out, continuing to get the word out is important, because, when the show first comes out, you have a lot of publicity behind you, and you have a lot of,
right.
And now we're at the point where, there's kind of less of that. So we're sort of depending on, on word of mouth to keep the show hopefully growing. And that's what will help Amazon make the right decision.
So you guys out there watching, you heard what Jason said. You have to share, you have to tell your friends about it, you have to post, and we all need this as a community, and hopefully you'll hire more autistic actors, because we know they're out there, they're waiting. Sue Ann inspired so many young women to get into the field, and all of you, especially you, Albert, I hear all the time, so many of my autistic friends talking about Albert's performance and how inspiring you were to all these autistic actors who come to the center and say, oh, I want to do that. Albert does it. I want to do it.
Thank you.
So that's so important. So thank you guys for that.
Going with you, but your line of questioning. So what does that feel like for you guys, being an inspiration to people? How does that make you feel?
It's weird.
Well, by season 4, you'll get used to it. God willing, right?
Sue Ann, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, it's weird. Like Albert said, it's weird. I've gotten some of the most beautiful messages, though. I wasn't expecting that. From both like friends and family, and also just strangers around the world who are watching the show. Almost every day there's something in a direct message on social media, and it's just the most heartfelt messages. So I know it's already touched a lot of people, and that's something that it's so cool. I'm really grateful for.
I've got a lot of messages from people from Italy. Like,
oh, wow.
It's just
oh my
weird.
Gosh.
It's just
That's
weird.
funny and wonderful at the same time.
Rick, how do you feel about that?
I'm inspired by things all the time. I say that almost to kind of remove some of the stakes of what it means to be an inspiration, because I don't want to have a false sense of modesty. Like I understand that what we're doing right now is inspiring for people, and I'm so grateful that Jason put me in a position where I get to be one of those people that are kind of the cause of that. But like, this is going to sound very, very corny, but like I've kind of like have these not rules, but conscious decisions of people that I kind of have in my life of what my friends are and what I expect from them. And I only have friends that inspire me. And I have to imagine them a little bit. So like, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that without just the truth being like, I feel like people in my life and I inspire people all the time. And maybe this is kind of a arrogant thing to say, but like, maybe I'm used to it. I mean, not on such a grand scale, but just like, I don't know, like, you inspire people. I don't know. Now I'm embarrassed about the way I answered that, but I was being honest. I just,
it's all right. You're comfortable with inspiring people.
Yeah, but I don't mean that like I am an inspiration. Just people are, if you're in a situation, and this show gave an opportunity that if it wasn't me, it'd be somebody else inspiring. It's this character, it's this story. So I don't feel like I am an inspiration. I see that it happens. It's nice.
And Rick, tell us the name of your podcast so people.
Oh, that is inspiring. That I appreciate.
Yeah, it's really funny.
It's called "Take Your Shoes Off," and
Take Your Shoes Off.
I've been doing it. It's coming up on 3 years in April, and there have been multiple people who have emailed me throughout saying that they recognize some things that I was talking about that they didn't realize was a common thing, and 5 people have since got diagnosed with autism when they knew almost nothing about autism. Countless amounts of people better understood what obsessive compulsive disorder is and how it differentiates from ADD or ADHD. And I've just been like having conversations with so many people about this stuff. My podcast is supposed to be a comedy podcast, but we're constantly crying and talking about turning the lights up way too many times and washing our hands.
Yeah.
But also, I really was embarrassed. So I just want to backtrack a little bit and say that the inspiration, Jace, is as we see it. I'm just a character in it. So, but surround yourself by inspiring people.
We have a question from Shannon Penrod. Please talk about the process around shooting the meltdown scene. It was heartbreaking, beautiful, and so well done. We talked a little bit about it before, but maybe we can expand on it a little bit, because it was a very touching scene. Albert was amazing. So let's talk about the meltdown scene and how that happened. Albert, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
That was definitely one of the more difficult days on set. I thankfully knew it was coming up, but I had time to prepare, try to like tap into it, because I have had like meltdowns before. Just try to understand I had to try to understand every single beat, every movement of my character, or try to figure out why he is reacting the way he is, and then you get to the set and try to not be thrown by everything else, because a big part of acting is reacting to someone else as well. So if one of the actors is not respond in the way you expect them to, that informs your performance as well. And then any directions the director gives, there's just a lot to pull in. I'm just glad that I got it by the end. Although my voice ended up like breaking the next day from the yelling I did.
Wow. And Jason, you obviously wrote that from experience.
As I said in terms of what earlier, when I wrote it, I had the scene. I was really taking my cues from Albert and seeing what he was sort of what he was sort of doing as he was acting during the course of the season, and sort of trying to lean into what I felt would happen with Harrison if he got to that point. And yeah, I've definitely have had experience with dealing with when people are at a point where they sort of lose control of themselves, and it's obviously it's a very painful thing to be on either side of that, and it's definitely something that what is an important part of telling the story. A lot of the things about the show, it's interesting, the show, because you tend to start talking about this show, and you think you can spend a lot of time talking about this moment and how hard it was and sort of painful it is for this. And the beautiful thing about the show is how the show contains everything. The show contains light moments. It contains humor. It contains really hopeful moments. It contains moments that are sort of silly. There's the a moment where Jack and his dad have an edible together. So that's not like what I mean. There's it's sort of, it spans so much, and I think that's one of the things that I really feel makes the show what it is. It kind of contains all of these things, and the experience of watching every single episode, within each episode there are moments of joy and levity and just unexpected delight. And there are also moments where you're like, wow, that's hard.
It's difficult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Oh, sure. This question is specifically for Jason Katims. What have you learned about the autism community from producing, creating, working on the show as we see it?
What have I learned? Well, first of all, I've been around, and I feel in a way part of this community for a long time. I have a son who's on the spectrum who's now 25 years old. And so it's something that I was, definitely, it was a subject that I was familiar with, and it was very personal to me coming into it. But one of the things I learned was, I guess I was really learned, or I guess I would say I was sort of inspired by the trust and openness of all of the neurodiverse people involved in the show. And by the way, we should say it's not just our actors. It's we had lots of people on both sides of the camera who are neurodiverse in making the show. We had people on set, in the production office, in the writer's room, in the editing room. And, I felt like I was sort of inspired by the openness, the honesty, the willingness to, engage and be part of something. And there was a trust that was right from the very beginning. And, I would say, working with this cast from the very beginning, I felt there was a trust. And I think that trust permeated the entire, the culture of the show. So it was a really beautiful thing to be part of. And I also feel like there was a willingness from all of these actors and all the other neurodiverse voices who were part of the show to articulate to me stuff that needed to be articulated to me so that I could better understand and I could try to do my best to to sort of channel something that it's channel their hearts and minds and voices so that we could tell a story that got it as close to getting it right as we possibly could. From the very beginning, the goal in making the show from the very beginning was authenticity, in every aspect of it. And it, of course, started with authentic casting, but it became every aspect of the show. And so we really try to lean into that. And I try to do what I could to, to learn everything that I could so that I could try to, be part of telling the story in a way that was going to resonate with people who watched it.
Well, this is not your first rodeo. This is, so to speak, our autism rodeo, let's say. You created Parenthood, and I'm going to tell you something. Parenthood delivered to me one of the lines that kind of made my earth shake, and it was a scene between Max and his father, and Max was having a meltdown, and the father started getting upset, and I think Max said to the father, "Are you mad at me because I have autism?" And to me, that was such an incredibly honest moment because it was just such a great honest moment, and I thought it was brave to include that. So, and you've done a lot of that in this show too. So, honesty is what you're about, I think. And I guess my question is to the cast. And did you all feel that honesty? Did you feel safe in that environment, in your characters?
Yeah, this was like one of the most like safest sets I think I've ever been on because it was just, I mean, it's amazing. We shot during COVID, so there was it was like closed down, but literally you could walk around and there was an extra layer of just kindness, of gentleness, because you have people like Melina Root, who's a costume designer who, has a son who's, like very, it was just like everyone just knew like, oh, like here's how the puzzle pieces fit instead when you're around autistic people. And it wasn't like an autistic person trying so hard over and over and over to like do it right in a world that's just not made right for them and then being told they're wrong. It was like all the neurotypical people on set were like, we are going to go out of our way to figure out how to make the right type of world for you to feel okay just to walk around and be safe in. And that's incredible. That's like a microcosm of like what life could be like.
Yeah.
Well, it was certainly felt. And I can't thank all of you enough for joining us. We're pretty much out of time here. But I just want to thank you all. We could go on for another hour, I think, talking about this. And for those of you watching, if you haven't seen the show, go see As We See It. It's on Amazon. Binge it twice. If you have watched it, watch it again. It's a great show, and kudos to you all for making it. And I just, we can't thank you enough for being a part of this and for doing that.
And would love all of you to come and visit the center and come see what we're doing and just, meet you in person. Except for you, Joe. Like that.
Well, I just want to say, okay. Well, we can't wait to see you guys.
Thank you all so much. And keep inspiring, Rick.
For all of you out there, I would just want to say the Ed Asner Family Center depends on donations to keep going. So we implore you to make donations and make this a reality that keeps on happening. The Ed Talks is offered for free once a month, and we're here for you. And Rick, do you have a final word?
Yeah, I was just going to say that for the next 24 hours, Jason is going to match all donations. So, get out those checkbooks, get out those credit cards, and hey, instead of eating out tomorrow, why don't you think to donate to the Ed Asner Family Center? My name is Rick Glassman, and thank you so much for having me.
Yay!
That's my boy.
Thank you.
Perfect final word there.
I love
Rick.
it.
Okay, and Jason, we won't hold you to that. Don't worry.
Okay.
So,
Guys.
we thank you. For those of you at home, we thank you, and we'll see you soon.
We'll see you next month.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
All right, thank you.